variable on both sides. When solving equations, the variable should be on one side of the equal sign. And if the variable is on both sides, then you need to move one variable to the other side by adding or subtracting. Let's look at example 1. Example 1, solve for x in the equation below. So we have 5x is equal to 3x plus 12. So the whole goal is always to get the variable on one side and the number on the other. So in order to get the variable just on one side with the number on the other side, we're just going to go ahead and subtract 3x to both sides. So 3x minus 3x is just going to be equal to 0. Now 5x minus 3x, so it's really just going 5 minus 3, which is 2x. And then on the right hand side, you have 0 plus 12. So now we have 2x is equal to 0 plus 12. So we have 2x equals 12 because 0 plus 12 is 12. And then how to get the variable by itself is we're just going to go ahead and divide both sides by 2. Because this just becomes 1, so you have 1x equals 12 divided by 2, which is equal to 6. So x is equal to 6. Now let's do another example. Example 2, solve for x in the equation below. So we have 30 minus 2x equals 8x. So let's go ahead and rewrite this. Now we want the x on one side of the equal sign and the number on the other. So probably the quickest way to do that would just be to add 2x to both sides. It gets rid of it on the left-hand side as this is just equal to 0. And then we have 30 plus 0, so that's just 30. And then we have 8x plus 2x. So all we're really doing is just adding this 8 plus 2, which is 10. We keep the variable. And then we have really just 30 equals 10x. So we just go ahead and divide by 10 on both sides because this just becomes 1. And then 30 divided by 10 is equal to 3. Let's do another example. Example 3, solve for x in the equation below. So here we have 7x plus 4 equals 9x minus 22. So now we have to do two things where we have to move things around. We need to move either one of these variables, and then we also need to move one of the numbers. So the variables on one side and then the numbers on the other. So let's go ahead and just subtract the 7x to both sides. This way we have a positive number on the right hand side with the x. So this just becomes 0. So we have 0 plus 4 equals 9x minus 7x is 2x minus 22. Now we want the number on the other side of the equal sign away from the variable because we want them on different sides. So all we have to do is just add 22 to both sides. So minus 22 plus 22 is 0. So on just the right hand side we have 2x. Now 4 plus 22 is just 26. So we have 26 equals 2x. So in order to get x by itself, we can just go ahead and go 26 equals 2x, and we can just go ahead and divide by 2 on both sides. This becomes 1, and 26 divided by 2 is equal to 13. Let's do another example. Example 4, solve for d in the equation below. So we have negative 11d minus 6 equals negative 2d plus 12. So like in the example before, we'll have to do a little bit more steps on this one. So let's go ahead and add this 11d to both sides. This way, we'll get d to become positive. So if we just add plus 11d, this just becomes 0 minus 6 equals, this is really just 11d minus 2d, so 11 minus 2, which is 9, and then d, we keep the variable, plus 12. Now, the next step is to move this 12 so we can kind of start getting this d all by itself on the equal sign. So we're going to go ahead and subtract 12 to both sides. This just becomes 0. We have 9d plus 0. Now negative 6 minus negative 12. So really all we're doing is we're going to add these two numbers together and keep the negative sign because we're just becoming more negative. So 6 plus 2 is 8, and then we have this 1, but it's negative 18. Then the next thing will be is to divide by 9 on both sides, because then we can get d by itself, because this just becomes 1, and then we have negative 18 over 9. So 18 divided by 9 is equal to 2, but we keep the negative sign. Now you can double check all this, because we can go negative 6 minus 12 to give us negative 18. We divide by 9, it gives us negative 2. So we know we did it correct.